Oh, it's not really an obsession. I mean, I suppose people that don't know me, they walk in here and they see this and they think, oh, he's obviously obsessed. But it's just a matter of chipping away at something. You know, you buy a couple, you know, something to do in your spare time. You wait a little bit, you buy a couple more, you buy a couple more. All of a sudden, 8 years passes and it's just sometimes overwhelming from where I started. This is my game collection of pretty much every NES and Super NES video game ever made. It started about 8 years ago. I just started collecting a few at a time, and I've been purchasing a few here and there ever since. This is the entire U.S. catalog, recognized by Nintendo of America as 670 carts made for the system, with an additional 116 unlicensed games in here. Excuse me, 111. I'm missing 5. So it's 781 out of 786 known to exist. This is the Super Nintendo collection, but there's a total of 724 of the Super NES games made. This right here is 708 of them. I'm missing 16. I actually started with Virtual Boy just because I started doing research, and I found out that since that system flopped and it died so fast, they only came out with 14 games for that, and so I just spent time scouring eBay, and I was able to find them for $1 or $2 a piece, and that's kind of what got me started. So I purchased all 14 of those. Ever since I was born, I've always had a knack to collect something. You know, I collected comic books, I collected baseball cards when I was growing up. But this was just kind of the next step for me once I had the internet. And I would buy 200, 300, 400 at a time, and then I would resell the duplicates I already had. Then I'd buy another large lot of games, and then I'd resell the duplicates, until I ended up with, I got about 500 of them or so for about $2 to $3 a piece. And you can pull out about 50 out of there or so that are worth dramatically more than that, whether it be 10 bucks, 20 bucks, $100, $200. You know, one of them's worth $2,000. As a collector, it's the thrill of the hunt. I've always tried to pay way less through bulk purchasing, or through special deals, or through looking around for people that don't really know what they have. You know, things like that, trying to obviously pay a way lesser price than what they are worth today, which I pretty much successfully did. Only extremely rare, extremely well-known games would I pay, you know, large amounts of money for, and hopefully still come out all right in the end. I will go through just about whatever means possible. You know, I did throughout my years of collecting, trying to find steal of a deal, trying to find those that I know are worth a bunch. You know, whether it be at a flea market, whether it be at a local game store, somebody who doesn't have their prices just right on something. You know, you can, if you really spend the time searching and looking, you can really find some deals. If you look at these, any one of these that has a gray mold like this, it was manufactured by Nintendo, from my understanding, and it's the type that everybody's familiar with, that everybody recognizes. This means that this company that made this, Acclaim, was a licensee of Nintendo. Tengen Games is the most popular unlicensed. Here's RBI Baseball 3, made by Tengen. Okay, this game looks so different because they didn't go through Nintendo. They didn't, and Tengen actually got in a lawsuit with Nintendo for over some of these practices. Nintendo ultimately lost the lawsuit. They made their own games, whether it be, you know, two guys making them in their basement, whether it be some little factory set up. And so they just made them on their own and distributed them with whatever means possible, whatever stores they could get to carry them. So obviously those are extremely rare. Here's another one. There's these other companies called Color Dreams, Bunch Games, that made blue or greenish ones like this. And of course all of them are designed to fit in a Nintendo and play. I don't know why on Super Nintendo there's basically 0 of those. There's actually only 1 unlicensed game for Super Nintendo, and I don't know why nobody else could make them. They might have put stricter policies on that or something, or made them harder to duplicate the actual cartridges. This list, whether you're talking licensed, unlicensed, recognized, not whatever, is way more clear with the Super Nintendo. People will argue between 720 and 724, and it's real tight in there. This one's completely different because so many people in the 80s took it upon themselves to make their own. So Nintendo recognizes 670 on their list, on their classic games list, on their website. But if you search harder and you look for other people's lists and other people's compilations and the games they've found over the years, it includes another 116, which I have 111 of those. There's hundreds of games here that probably nobody's ever heard of or ever seen, and that's because they're awful to play, probably didn't sell well, and which makes them rare and valuable and so on. And so you know, of course, the one drawback is when you have this many, not all of them are great to play, of course. Some of them will just sit here indefinitely.
Are you familiar with the Angry Video Game Nerd on the internet?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've watched some of his YouTube videos. He'll pull out a cartridge and I'll have it with him, and he'll majorly go off about how he's really displeased with. I think I saw one on the Wizard of Oz or something. The response to collecting these and appreciating these that I've seen is overwhelming. Like I said, there's entire eBay stores by the hundreds that are dedicated to just selling old Nintendo games. There's so many people. When you look at the auction counter on the auctions nowadays, so many more people are looking at them. So many more people are bidding on them. So many more people are willing to pay a dramatically higher price than before. So it's just like anything in this world, any type of collectible or anything that has to do with supply and demand. You got more people that want something, then the whole market just gets bigger, and prices and values go up. A lot of people still hail the Super Nintendo as one of the greatest systems ever made, just because, I mean, the graphics were a little bit better than the 8-bit era, but you also had a lot of real solid classic gameplay, whether it be an RPG or a side-scroller, and it's a lot of people's favorite, including mine, and I spent a lot of time playing Super Mario Kart, among others. I don't know anybody that can race that game faster than me, and I'm sure a lot of people that see this say, oh yeah, right. But actually, I did get printed in a Nintendo Power magazine about 10 years ago for having the fastest times. You had to take a picture of your time with your Super Nintendo in the shot to make sure you weren't cheating. And all the record times they had posted for that game, I beat all of them. Everybody on the list for every track posted, I beat all those scores, sent them in. They published me in one of their issues. And then after watching this King of Kong documentary, I learned about Twin Galaxies. .com, which keeps track of all video game high scores, and I guess they're recognized by Guinness as the official scorekeeper for video game high scores. And I looked at all their Mario Kart scores, and they're atrociously bad. They are awful, and I've already, just warming up a little bit on that game, I can beat all of them, all the times posted, so I think I'm actually going to try and get on there.